So here's an update on the ML500, replacing the rear left shock strut tower. This has been a very, very hard and painful and patience generating work. I'm still getting this third bolt off the shock tower. These were so rusty, I had to use a wrench with a spline to blindly make the third nut, which is still installed in the car, have the ability to accept the socket. So this evening I was able to remove the piece that went here on the stabilizer bar there on the sway bar. This piece was fairly easy to take out with a 13mm socket. These pieces back here were incredibly terrible to get off the A-arm. To get that A-arm out took me a long time. These bolts here in New England rust, and I even broke a socket wrench to get that thing out. So basically I was using this socket wrench from Harbor Freight. You can see where there's a screw missing because the socket wrench pretty much blew up. I was having to use the socket wrench with a pipe on the bottom, and I had actually a stump under the car that I had against the socket wrench, and I was kicking it to provide more leverage. These were on so tight I thought about hacking them off with a hacksaw, but I finally got them off. I was unable to use an impact driver to get them off. That's how tight they were. The bottom of the shock, as you can see there, right there, the bottom, that came off easily. And what else can I tell you about this operation? I took out the wheel well cover, the plastic cover, as you can see, which is in the yard here somewhere. There it is. So you can access this near nut here through here. You can access the other nuts on top of the shock tower from the back of the car. This is really labor intensive. It just, you can move the wrench 20 degrees only. So I'm working on the last nut now. It's about 6:30 at night after work, and to access that nut has been painful. It took me a half an hour just to get the socket wrench onto the nut, and I've been working a wrench which is up in here and pulling it this way to get that third nut to come out. You can see the shock is coming loose now. I still got to get this third nut out. So here's what was really helpful. By accident from Harbor Freight, I bought this wrench with splines on it, and these little splines were capable of taking that really rusty bolt and shaking off some of the rust so I can get a socket on there. Before, I could not get a socket in the bolt. I couldn't budge it. So using this little spline wrench, I didn't use this wrench for anything but just shaking off all the rust. That and WD-40. I did buy a new socket wrench to get off these large A-arm bolts, and this one hasn't broken yet, but the bolts were so tight when I would pretty much use all my force of my legs to hit this thing, I would hear a huge crack. And I also used a 21mm wrench that's still lying here. That wrench was used up in these little holes where you can put a wrench in here. You simply put a wrench in here to catch that nut to get this thing out, and that worked fine. Luckily this didn't strip, the bolt didn't strip. The bolts should be replaced. However, I don't think I'll ever do this thing again. This car might get sold, so I don't want to even bother putting in new bolts. I'm just gonna go with it how I did. So I'm working on this last bolt up here, and okay, yeah, there's my ratchet. So everything here is by feel. I've never seen the tops of these bolts. Everything is by feel. That's how bad this is. I thought about drilling a hole in the car, but the gas tank is right there. I would probably end up punching a hole in the gas tank and burning up, so I didn't drill a hole in the car, and I got lucky. So I'm able to get this third nut off of here. I'm trying to show you this wrench up here that I've been playing with. Okay, there's the socket. So I've been wiggling the socket back and forth here. Can you see the socket? There's the wrench. So I've just kind of been going like click, click, click for the past 40 minutes on this third bolt. Click, click, click. And then it might come out. But I know it's loose because the shock tower is nice and loose finally. I was considering getting a grinder and grinding this thing apart, but that'd be dangerous because of the spring here, grinding through the shock, trying to unscrew the shock, and then chiseling out that last stud with a chisel. But I didn't want to do that, so I got lucky with the little socket wrench up here. In fact, let me show you this wrench. This thing is amazing. This is from Harbor Freight. So I got a 13mm socket on this thing, and this thing has been a lifesaver. So I've used this thing for engine mounts and now for this stud on top of the shock tower and strut, and it's amazing. So let's take a peek at this thing. So there's a new piece I want to put in here. I don't even know if this video is upside down now or not. Probably is. So I've been using this Harbor Freight low profile socket thing to take these bolts off. This little wrench is essential from Harbor Freight for getting this thing apart. Been using this, and been using just a 13mm wrench, and I've been using this. I bought this thing. I haven't even tried this thing yet. In fact, I think I'll give this thing a whirl and see how it goes. This is a little ratchet type wrench at 13mm that I bought. I haven't used it yet, but I couldn't get this wrench on the bolt. And then this one, this is a 13 here from Harbor Freight. This has come in handy for taking off the first two nuts that have a different angle, and I was able to get those loose with this wrench. I don't think I've done much with a straight 13, but this has taken hours. It's a sickening job. I almost gave up a few times. I just thought, what the hell am I doing here? Wasting my life fixing an old car. It's just horrible work, but I'll finally get this thing in here and get the car re-inspected and hopefully get rid of my R sticker. So I was gonna chisel with this chisel here, didn't get to it. The next problem with this vehicle is going to be the front sway bar, and I bought these parts for the front sway bar, and these are simply mounts for the front sway bar. I think there's some thread in it. Yeah, there's some threads in there. I bought some ARP studs to put in those threads, and it comes with bushings. I also bought these a long time ago and never put them in. They attach to the sway bar. So with this stuff in here, hopefully this thing will be rock solid in the front end, and the inspection guy won't say, oh my god, your car has a loose front end. So that's where I'm going with this. So it's about 7 p.m. here. Sun's going down. I'll be happy to get this done. Celebrate with some booze or something. Okay, well, thanks for watching. And as you can see, this is a big mess here. There's stuff all over the place. You need all sorts of weird tools to do this work. It's just, you don't know what you're going to hit. Here's the socket with a 13. I might have used this a few times too, with a 13 on it. So anything with a 13, I've been trying to Is that 13 on there? It's a 10. Okay, well, that was something else. Okay, well, thanks for watching. I'm probably getting delirious here working in this car. There's the pipe that I used on the socket wrench, so I would put this pipe on the socket wrench like that, and put this wrench on this bolt with a 17 millimeter socket, impact socket. In fact, here it is. So this socket here is a 17 millimeter impact. No, it's a 21. I'm sorry, it's a 21. So yeah, this bolt takes a 21, and I had the 21 on like that. So put this on the wrench, and you can see how this is gonna go. And I was whacking this thing like this with a 21. It's almost better to cut the bolt. You can't torch it because you're by the gas tank. And then I had the 21 wrench on the nut, and that was enough to get this thing out, but it took a long time. So that's how I got that out. I had the pipe on the socket, and I was using my two legs to push that thing. Even with a full kick with both legs, it would make cracking sounds and come loose, but it took a long time. So be warned, this A-arm comes out okay. You gotta bang it with a hammer, but it comes out. I'm gonna bang out those metal stays a little bit, bang them out a millimeter so that'll go in easier. Then tighten it down. I'm excited about finally getting this shock tower out. Gonna get mosquitoes here pretty soon, so it's back to work. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.